Greetings. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is a special report on Julian Assange and his release. When it came out over the last couple of days that Mr. Assange had cut a deal with U.S. authorities that would result in his freedom and being able to return to his native land of Australia, everybody was excited and happy and wonderful. You'd expect to see dancing in the streets and fireworks. And it's a good thing he's out. It's a good thing he's out. WikiLeaks did a lot of good in its time. Notice I'm speaking in the past tense. Mr. Assange was a very dynamic, very, very intellectually capable and articulate young man. Notice I'm speaking in the past. And it's a good thing he's out. He's with his family, and he's going to be recovering. They're talking about that. Now, when everybody was watching, I'm sure that very few people were actually looking at the body language, looking at his appearance, looking at his face. And I'm not so much celebrating as I am mourning. If you people think that the dynamic, very outspoken, very much a crusader that we saw in his late 30s some years ago is coming back anytime soon, if ever, I'm going to have to give you a reality check. I don't think we're going to see much from Mr. Assange in the future. Oh, he'll probably write a book. He'll probably get interviewed, but mark my words, in what I know how things work in this world, the U.S. government never would have agreed to a deal with that man unless they were absolutely convinced he was no longer a threat, that they hadn't broken him to some extent. Now, don't get me wrong, Mr. Assange is a brave man, and he put up with a lot. He fought like with everything he had. But the purpose of putting people in a maximum security prison based on being a journalist is not designed to protect the public. It's designed to break them. It's designed to mess with your head. He didn't look very happy. He didn't look very cognizant. He looked pretty beaten, watching video feeds from Saipan and other places. And when he came back to Canberra, yes, he held his fist in the air, what have you, but this is a man who has been through hell. The British especially are known for being very vindictive to prisoners. As many stories came out about how the IRA were treated when they were captured. The British, remember, are the people that invented concentration camps. You can ask any Boers from the era of the Boer War. This guy was in solitary confinement for about 5 years. Most of that time, it was 5 years of solitary confinement. And I doubt very much he had a lot to read. They're very careful with what they give you in prison to read. I've known men who have been in prison for up to a year in what is effectively solitary confinement, and it really changed them. 5 years is unimaginable. And we heard all these stories about him having health issues. And he didn't look very healthy. He was much heavier than when he was younger. And for a brain to be starved of input, the likes of which he had to starve for 5 years, is going to have a permanent effect. And not a good one. And I'd like to point something out to all the MAGA fans out there, all the Trump fans that think as soon as he gets put in the White House, everything's going to be put right. It was under Donald Trump's Justice Department that this whole thing was pushed to where it was pushed. Okay? It was under his Justice Department, under his CIA, that Mr. Assange was taken out of the Ecuadorian embassy and then thrown into prison and then had to fight extradition to the United States, where he was looking at close to 200 years in prison under the Espionage Act. I'm just looking at this and thinking the man's life has been just robbed from him because he was just entering his 40s when all this went down. And that's a very productive time in a man's life. And now he's 52. He's been starved from physical activity and mental activity. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, but if you go up to WikiLeaks, the wikileaks.org website, they haven't had anything up there in years. Everything is old. Everything is from like 2018. I think we have something up there from 2021, which is talking about his case. They haven't done anything. So WikiLeaks is effectively over anyways, and it has been for a while. You're not going to see this guy come out anytime soon doing anything spectacular. And this is sad, because if you had something like this organization functioning over the last decade or more, I doubt you'd see a lot of the nonsense that we're seeing now. I doubt you would have seen the 2020 election go the way it went. There was a lot of stuff that was probably leakable at that time that didn't have an outlet. And after what happened to Mr. Assange, I'm sure a lot of potential leakers, people who might have had interesting information that the public should know about, they probably decided it wasn't worth the risk. Same thing goes for all the conflicts we have. If we had had leaking information from whistleblowers, would we have had a Ukrainian-Russian war? Would there have been something going on in Gaza right now with the Israelis and the Palestinians, or Hamas, whatever you want to call it? There is a need to leak information out when it's needed to be known by the public, and that's traditionally done by journalists. But I was very sad when I saw Mr. Assange, and we're hearing about his healing, but he's not going to be picking up where he left off. And too many years of his life have been robbed. He's a hero to many people, but the bad guys won in this case. They didn't get everything they wanted, but they basically rendered him ineffective. Hopefully, he'll make some impact on the future, but this guy's been through hell. And I would ask that people just leave him be. If he wants to get back into the arena, he'll get back into it. But he did his bit for king and country. Excuse the pun. If anything, it's a sobering reminder as to what tyranny does exist in societies and countries that were traditionally against tyranny. So follow this case, but at the same time, follow what else is going on. And wish Mr. Assange and his family well. That's it for today. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Consider a paid subscription. Pass this podcast off to others. If you want to contact me, I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. My handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, is MICCAMPEN. That's MICCAMPEN. You can also reach me through direct notes at Substack. The address there, of course, you already know. It's aureliancolumn.substack.com, and I'm up on Telegram and a few other places if you look. That's it for today. Until next time, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and good day.